Hello and welcome back to our podcast,
Cut the Headlights.
Today is episode 21, where we will be reviewing the Imola and Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah, so they were interesting-ish races.
They were not interesting at all.
Not very much so much.
Monaco was horrible. Monaco was terrible.
Imola was better.
Imola was better.
I think Monaco was an upgrade from last year.
I don't know. I just feel like none of these races, no race this year has been like, wow, like this was extraordinary.
They're not giving like jaw-dropping.
Literally. Nothing this season has happened that like my jaw has dropped.
Yeah. Honestly, even all the driver swaps, they've been kind of predictable. We were too spoiled last season.
Right? Like with the Lewis to Ferrari thing, jaw dropped. Even like when the Max George beef still started and I was like reading their statements, like jaw on the floor.
Exactly.
Like
what? We had more race winners, like Monaco, Miami, Silverstone.
I'm going to say something that might be a little controversial, and that is that I think McLaren dominance is worse than Max Verstappen dominance.
That is an insane statement. That is an insane statement.
Because hear me out. With Max winning all the time, like, yeah, it was boring, but there was still an interesting fight for second place. With the McLaren dominance, it's like, it's going to be the two of them on the podium most of the time. Like, 2 out of 3 spots are already taken. It's just, like, kind of interesting to see who will be the third. But, like, at least with Max, yes, it was maybe more dominant than the McLarens are. But it was just one person. The rest of it was a toss-up.
At least we're getting different race winners.
This isn't...
I'm sorry,
I don't love McLaren dominance. 2 predictable winners is way worse than just one.
To each their own.
I said it.
Yeah,
anyways,
you did.
Starting our current news segment, pretty big news not only in the F1 world, but in the entire media in general, is the F1 movie. They had a screening and they invited all the drivers out to watch it, and their responses were pretty mixed.
Yeah, Kimi Antonelli said it was very long, and Carlos said, "Oh, I liked it, but when you're such a big when you're so into Formula One, maybe it's not the best."
Yeah.
Which is crazy because he goes, "Oh, I liked it, but I actually didn't really like it."
That's just so funny to me because, I mean, it makes sense because obviously they have to kind of take the sport and dramatize it a lot in order to make it like a movie. So if they didn't, you would just be watching a race,
Yeah.
They have to make it very dramatic. So to them, it might feel a little bit spoofy, but I'm sure that to audiences it'll be more entertaining. Hopefully it'll be good, but it's just kind of absurd because you'd think they have something in their contract that they need to promote the hell out of it.
They do so much media, you have so much PR training, and you're gonna go, it was long.
Literally, to do certain hand movements to show off your watch to the public, apparently, but you don't know how to give a movie good reviews. Come on now.
I will say though, Carlos did acknowledge it will be good for the sport, it'll bring a lot of new fans in, and I agree. I think it's kind of somewhat like what Drive to Survive is, except it's dramatizing not real lives, which I think is a big improvement. But I mean, I feel like you said, it's inevitable. It's a movie. This isn't for Formula One fans. This is for Hollywood. This is for anyone who's going to go to the movie theaters and watch a movie. And if they wanted to watch super in-depth and accurate racing, they would turn on ESPN on Sunday mornings and watch the race. Literally. But they don't. So I think this is going to be good to draw people in for sure.
Yeah,
and it'll
probably be more exciting than anything that's been going on recently.
Honestly, yeah, I'm not gonna act like I'm not gonna show up to that movie multiple times with multiple different people to watch it. I will 100% be doing that. But I mean, I don't know. I'm excited, and I think obviously there will be some elements of realism just because Lewis was working on it so much.
Yeah, and the drivers all make cameos.
Yeah,
not all of them, but
a lot of them in the background. And I saw some clips for the racing, and I mean, obviously they took some creative liberty with the angles because you're still watching a movie, but it looked pretty good. It looked good. I will say though, having the love interest allegedly being the female race engineer.
Yeah, I don't know about I guess I think they just needed to have a love interest and they wanted to put her into the world of F1. I don't think it's that absurd, if it makes sense.
I think there were better jobs for them to have chosen, maybe a love interest who's a reporter. You know,
Maybe, but
is
I don't
Fernando Alonso
know.
like not
That
dating a
also just
reporter right
feels
now?
like classic. They're all just dating models, anyways.
No,
Might as
I
well
think
just
Fernando's dating a reporter.
really. And
Yeah,
then
see,
like
like they could have taken that.
Valtteri's dating like a biker, and like
It's just like
Alex with like Lily, who's
it
a pro
just feels a
golfer.
little bit weird when it's like we just got our first female engineer, and like, you know what I mean? Like I understand like the idea because it is a movie, but like I feel like there are definitely better jobs you could have done, you know.
Yeah, perhaps.
But that's okay. I'm still excited for it.
Yes, and then another pretty big deal for the sport is that it now has a sponsorship coming with Disney, which is insane. Just like the rate that the sport, the popularity of it is growing is kind of wild. Like Disney is like a huge sponsor.
Yeah, they should make a ride at Disney World.
I think it'll be probably something like that.
Really, I was just gonna expect like Disney
Or like
themed merch.
or I think there'll be maybe be like a documentary on Disney Plus or something.
That could be
Or
cool.
like an F1 ride at one of the parks.
They are building a Disney park in Abu Dhabi. And that's like the last race, so maybe we'll get something in Abu Dhabi.
Because there's Ferrari World right there in Abu Dhabi
Yeah.
also, so they could just kind of like
that is quite possible.
it'll
But
something be
I think
like
like
that.
like for now it'll just be like, you know how they had like the Snoopy merch or whatever? Didn't they just do that? I think it'll be like that.
I think it'll be bigger. Like I think it'll definitely be like something
but
prominent.
In the sense of what we can easily get, I think the merch is probably closer than the ride in Abu Dhabi.
No, I have hopes. Like
we're gonna be there.
I will
Opening day, we will be there.
We will be there. Like it'll just happen for us.
Okay.
And then another pretty interesting thing is Jack Doohan, who was unfortunately already kicked out of his seat at Alpine, posted on his story because a lot of rumors were circulating around him, largely propagated by Franco Colapinto fans.
Yeah, it's kind of
who
awkward.
replaced him.
Because like, you know, Jack is still their reserve driver, so obviously he's still there on race weekend. And in Imola qualifying, when Franco crashed at the end of Q1, there was like this clip going around, and I even believed it at first because like everybody was talking about it, and it was a clip of like him looking to the side, presumably like at a screen, and like smiling, and everyone was like, "Oh, this was Jack's reaction to the Franco crash." Like that's an insane thing to say about somebody. That is so awful. These people still have to work together.
Yeah.
Like, why are we thinking Jack is gonna act like this in public, knowing there's cameras all around him too? Like that's, I don't know. It's just like so harmful.
Agreed. And they were also like fabricating posts like made by his like family members.
Yeah,
supposedly.
It was like his dad's story. Like they edited, like his dad posted something about Jack, and they edited it to be something about like Franco, his
or something
crash.
Like pretty negative. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, oh my god, calm down. Like he already lost his seat. Can you just leave him be?
And so Jack Doohan posted on his story, "As you can see, the story circulating above is completely false. It was fabricated by Argentine fans attempting to portray me and my family in a negative light. They edited the original content to make it appear as though my father posted it, which is entirely untrue. Please stop harassing my family. I didn't think I would have to get to this point."
Poor guy. Like
my baby.
He is already going through enough. And literally, like, I think like Alpine, like the team made a statement. Formula One, like the account maybe made a statement, and then the president of the FIA also made a statement. Like it was that bad, and it was spreading just so fast.
But you know what? Good for him, because a lot of drivers get so much hate, and like nobody ever says anything about it. Like I'm proud of him for like actually being like, put a stop to this. Like this isn't fair. Like leave me and my family alone.
And like I said, like at the end of the day, like he's still their reserve driver. He still has to have like a working relationship with these teams and Franco. So it's like, why are we trying to spread so much negativity? Let's not, please.
Agreed.
Like,
poor guy.
No matter what.
And then for the first time in a very long time, we have some Taylor Swift news.
She does not get into enough drama, and while I love that for her, I don't love that for us. I will say this is more less so her drama rather than Blake Lively's drama that she has been dragged into. And I also feel like that's why we haven't talked about it so much, because you kind of need the entire backstory on the Blake Lively,
long, complicated
Justin
ordeal.
Baldoni, It Ends With Us drama. So if any of you know that, like this is what we're talking about. And basically in the ongoing lawsuit between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, Taylor Swift keeps getting brought into the picture because obviously her and Blake like are really good friends.
Supposedly not anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of sources are reporting that they don't speak anymore, but how much can you ever really trust those sources? You don't know.
That's not true.
But yeah, they've been recently trying to subpoena Taylor Swift into court, and they said that like if she didn't appear, they would otherwise threaten to leak certain like messages between them.
That's insane.
Which is very insane.
Your friends.
I think they kind of blocked that down, so she will not have to appear in court. Unfortunately, because you know what? I would be so like intrigued.
I want to know her position on it. I love, and I think like people
I
are
hope
taking
she
it.
releases a song about it, like
Oh, that would be good.
like Rep TV, you know, all the karma rumors.
Yes.
Karma.
People, I feel like taking it like a little extreme, being like, oh, they're not friends anymore. Like maybe she's just trying to stay out of the drama. But it's so crazy when her supposed friend is dragging her into it, saying like, oh, I have my dragons, referring to like her really famous husband and Taylor Swift.
Agreed. And I don't like it because, you know, I was like a really big Ryan Reynolds fan.
Me too.
And like I just can't help but think that like he's married to like that psychopath woman.
No, but there's also been all that stuff that's come out about Ryan Reynolds and who he actually is, and it's like, no, like I wanted him to be good so bad. Leave him alone. I wanted him to be good so bad, but it's just like there is so much evidence.
Can't trust anyone these days.
Like, and it's crazy how everyone's like, oh, Ryan, like, have you heard people are like, oh, Ryan Reynolds just acts as himself in all his movies, but it's not crazy that like he's just acting, like he is for real acting. You know what I mean?
No.
Because like how it's been coming out, like people on sets and they're like, actually no, he's like a really terrible and like rude person. Like he's not the persona he puts on. So everybody's been thinking he's a really bad actor who just doesn't know how to act as anyone but himself. But really, he's just a bad person who's just always acting.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, like you never really know how many of these things to believe because like anybody can try and use like ongoing hate against celebrities to kind of like give themselves a voice. But there's definitely some suspicious stuff about all of them.
Yeah.
You know what? Just like
it's hard
to keep
believe
those famous people away from us.
It's hard to believe like all the good things. Also, when you're hearing about everything that like Blake Lively did, knowing that they're like married. So like
sure.
But yeah,
like,
so
nobody really knows them, but
yeah.
I mean, Taylor Swift kind of knew them, so that's why I wonder.
She did know them.
And you know what? I find it hard to believe that she only knew them in like their public persona.
No,
if that makes sense.
She 100% knew
like I think she knew them as like genuine people. So like I don't know what that says about her, or maybe it says that like I don't know that I can just straight up say like Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are absolute god awful people, because again you don't know how much of this stuff going on around them to believe, but like something's just a little bit off. Like all these people are like, oh poor Taylor, like they tricked her. It's like Taylor Swift had to at some level know the kind of people these people are, and either they weren't bad enough for her to cut them off, or she's kind of on their level.
No, the way I kind of think about it is not that they weren't bad enough, but just they're not doing that to her. As we can see from like Blake Lively, like she clearly holds this friendship in high regard, whether it's because of like the quality of the friendship or the fame that Taylor has. She definitely holds this friendship like really high up. So I think it's also just like they're not going to be those kinds of bad people to Taylor because they want her. Like she wants to be friends with Taylor, and you know, so I think she's just not getting that side, because the way Ryan Reynolds would act to somebody on set who he's acting with, who's maybe like an extra, versus Taylor Swift.
Like everyone knows Ryan Reynolds is like really good friends with like Hugh Jackman too, for example.
Like I think the way it's just the difference between how they treat people who are on their level of fame or higher than them versus the people who nobody's gonna really know. Like I don't think it's, and I think maybe this is like maybe also why she distanced herself. She's like, these aren't like the people I know. But obviously, what do we know? We don't.
We don't.
But it's like crazy. Like she's literally like their god, like their children's godparent. And now all this,
which begs the question, in rumors of Rep TV coming out, before we get to all that, is the Gorgeous intro for the song Gorgeous is one of Blake Lively's kids, like saying it. And so, I mean, who knows? Maybe she's probably had this in the vault for quite a while. Maybe she already got one of the kids to film it before all this drama started happening. Or maybe she'll need to find somebody else. Or I'm sure you can AI a voice saying Gorgeous.
I don't think she would, though. She does not seem like the kind of person who would use AI.
She could get like one of like Travis's like nieces or something.
She could hire some random kid too. Maybe she's like, you know what, I don't want this to like be affected again. So here, let's put a Craigslist ad. Do you want to go sing Gorgeous for my
Have song? Auditions. Like the Hunger Games TikTok auditions.
Yes.
It's like a bunch of people online going, Gorgeous.
I think it's most likely that
cast me, Taylor Swift. I got you.
I think if the rumors are true about when Reputation and Taylor's version is coming out, I think it's most likely that it was probably recorded before the drama got so bad.
I think she's had it for a while.
Yeah, like even if the drama had already started, like I don't think it was to the point where like Taylor was being like called to like
because last year when season 2 of The Summer I Turned Pretty came out, they used a re-recorded version of the song Delicate. Like, and even though it was just a snippet, like she probably like already had that ready.
If you're gonna do a snippet, you're gonna take it from a finished song, I think.
For sure. So, and that was a while ago before any of the drama even started. So she could have had Gorgeous already done then.
Yeah.
But more so now with the new season of The Handmaid's Tale coming out, very long clip of Look What You Made Me Do, Taylor's version, was used. And so a lot of people are speculating that tomorrow night, which will be Monday, May 26th, she is going to announce Rep Taylor's version at the AMAs.
I hope.
There's just been a lot of Easter eggs supposedly leading up to this, but this isn't the first time that people have found all these Easter eggs leading up to a specific date.
I know. I love all like the TikTok slideshows where they like zoom in on like the smallest detail and they have like a whole chronological reason. And then they're never right, but I love them every
Some of them are a little like come on now, like let's be honest.
But they're so entertaining.
Some of them are like, whoa. Like, that was on purpose, you know? Like, that was a little hint.
And I honestly, like, I don't blame them for coming to conclusions. She's done it so many times.
Agreed. Like, and even she says that there's some that, like, nobody has found yet. Like, she has a whole Google Docs.
Wait, really?
Of, like, different Easter eggs that she has out.
Like, that's actually, like, so genius. The way, like, the timing works out for her and things. Really? Insane. But I love it. I hope it comes out. I love Reputation so much.
I do, too.
But I will say, we listened to, like, half of the snippet from The Handmaid's Tale. I didn't love it.
Well, here's the thing. We're so used to our versions. Like, when I Know Places, Taylor's version first came out, I was like, this is really weird. It sounds so different. So then I like kind of like pushed it off to the side for a bit. And like over months, I was like, oh, I don't want to listen to it. It sounds like too different. And I like over exaggerated how different it sounded. So when I finally went back to listen to it, I was like, oh, like I can't even like really tell anymore. Because like it really didn't sound as bad or drastically different as I had like built it up in my head. So I think like after a few listens, you know, we'll kind of accommodate to it. It's definitely a little weird. I love Reputation, and
Look What You Made Me Do was so good. That music video,
it's like one of my favorite Taylor music videos.
It's
top
like
3 for me.
Top music video in general. Like I love that music video, but like I don't know, there were just like little parts of like I don't want to hear that. Like I want the normal version, please.
But like we'll get used to it. And it's anyways, depending on when you're listening to this episode, you can either congratulate us because we were right about Rep Taylor's version,
or think we're crazy just like all the other people.
Or you can clown. Then you know what? We will not judge you. We will take it like champions. All right.
Yeah.
Moving on to our Imola Grand Prix race recap.
Yes.
We are going to start with Q1. There was an absurdly giant crash by Yuki Tsunoda. It was one of the biggest ones I'd seen in a while.
It was terrible. Like it was so scary. He like flipped. He went so high in the air. It was like it was so scary.
It was like that's when you really see their neck strength, because like if like any other person like flew up and then like hit the ground upside down that hard, like your neck could genuinely break.
Yeah.
Like that is really dangerous.
And also just like the fact like the halo was there again, like such a genius
thank
thing
God
that they
for
added
that
to the car. I know, like I feel like sometimes when you see the videos, like obviously it's like they're not being super specific and it'll be like different crashes and they're like, oh, these people all would have died without the halo. While I agree with some of them, I feel like sometimes they're a little too dramatic. Like yes, would they have been injured? I fully believe they would have been, but I don't think as many people would have died. I mean, granted, I've looked through things and it's like so many people used to die. Like so many people. There were races where somebody would like when Ayrton Senna died, somebody died in qualifying at the same race.
Like, nobody really talks about them.
Like the amount of it wasn't like common, but it was like way more common. But I definitely think like it's good, but I don't know that everyone would.
It's a little over exaggerated how many people like it saved, because not all of those crashes, you know, were like either fatal or like even if they had been fatal, it could be like to different things. Like it does like, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
I get what you mean. Yeah, but it's also like
they could have died from other things that the halo has nothing to do with.
It's really depressing to think of.
But they're alive,
so yeah.
They haven't,
and thankfully Yuki was okay. He was like ready to go for the race the next day.
Which is very.
So
I would be like, hell
I
no.
would be terrified.
Get me the heck off
You
this
kidding me?
track.
One crash like that, I'm retiring. Mid-season, I
yeah.
am not showing up to the next race.
I'd be like, guys, like that just really made me reevaluate like the important
Like,
stuff.
I don't want to be here.
Adios.
Yeah, it's insane how much like
sayonara.
courage they have to get back into the car after multiple crashes like that.
Literally. And even just like seeing their friends get in these near-death crashes and still doing it. Respects. But Franco also crashed, but kind of like, since it wasn't that serious, like nobody really talked about it,
Yeah.
but it's almost be disappointing in your return to F1 to crash immediately.
One of the things I heard like most often when hearing about the Franco crash was that he crashed in the same corner that Ayrton Senna did in 1994 when he unfortunately passed away. And I think like it's so insanely crazy. Like all these drivers look up to Senna so much. And what do you mean like you can crash in the same spot where your idol like lost his life? I think it's like, I don't know, but thankfully he was not going fast enough at all to do that, and he was perfectly okay.
Yes, for sure. Poor guy. He wasn't going fast enough to be in any danger.
Poor guy. Just kidding. I don't really like him. Sorry. I don't want him to crash. I don't want him to crash. But do I want to see him succeed?
So you just want like this person's like entire life goals to like remain like unmet because you don't like their personality.
Hey, he's already an F1 driver. Like that is a goal enough for him. It's not like I just can't be a fan. I'm sorry. I would rather see so many other people on the grid succeed than him.
But still, I just hope they all live happy lives, and that when they're in their old age, they do not like.
Look, he's already made it to F1. That should make him happy enough.
But I don't know. Like all of their world dreams are like to win a world championship.
Yeah, but I don't think he's world championship material.
Okay, well, and I just hope he's happy. That's all you can hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to succeed insanely to be happy.
I know. I just like I don't know what else would bring him joy. So like at least on this like
yeah, I guess
you know maybe he'll find love, you guys.
Can't support him.
And have like children and pets and a well-rounded life with his family.
Okay. Let's move
on. So this race was won by Max Verstappen, which was pretty exciting. Pretty good for him.
It's not always the McLarens.
Not always the McLarens, but still. Like, guess who else was on the podium? Like what are you gonna do? But who was not that good was for Fernando Alonso, which is a shame because he qualified really well. He qualified P5, but unfortunately his car just like stopped working.
Poor guy is really going through it this season. He didn't finish like the first 3 races. He didn't finish Imola. Went to Monaco.
He had an outburst and he was like, I'm just the unluckiest driver in the whole world. And it's like, no, my baby. And it's just like, y'all will see later, but it does not get better for him.
No, he is really going through it. But honestly, like, props to him for, like, being, like, in his 40s and still showing up.
Literally. What a king.
Like, yeah.
Another person whose car stopped working was Kimi Antonelli.
At his home race. Like, I know there's another Italian race, but this is, like, his home race. It's, like, way closer to where he grew up.
Poor thing. And like earlier that weekend, he had like brought all his classmates out. And he's like, I never get to go on the school trip, so I'd like
they did a class field trip and they all got to go. They got like paddock passes.
That's like the sweetest thing I've ever heard. If any of my classmates are listening, like lock in.
Get to F1 and give me a paddock pass when you make it there.
But like I just think he like seems like he has such a sweetheart. Like
I know. I feel so bad. Like his whole class was there, probably rooting for him so much, and then that happened. Like his family and everything, and then that happened.
And you'd think everybody's like, "Oh, what a sweet kid! How exciting! Good for him." But some haters are downing on this move.
Jacques Villeneuve decided to be like, no, don't bring your friends here.
And he's like a former world champion, so he has like a respected voice. And for him to be like, well, it like
was he the world champion? Or was his dad the world champion? Or did they both win?
I don't know. I didn't know there were 2.
His dad.
Well, I think he was a world champion.
Either way, like successful
Either way,
Formula
he's a
One
prominent
family,
voice.
and he was a Formula One
For
driver.
him to be like, oh yeah, like took his head out of the game, like it was like a distraction. Like God forbid a man care
And he
about
was saying,
his
like,
surroundings.
Like, would you bring your friends to a work function?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is like a work function, but it's a Formula One race. Newsflash, people go watch sports events. And if that means bringing your friends, like, that is perfectly okay. Have you never taken a class field trip to, like, a sports game? Like, I'm sorry you didn't have a fun life. But, like,
we never took a class field trip to, like, a sports game.
Oh. We have.
What?
In French club. We went to a Spurs game. On French night to celebrate Wemby.
Y'all did?
Yeah.
We never do anything like that.
Because your French club's not as cool.
They just bought y'all Spurs tickets?
It was like a night for like people like in schools to go because they had like a whole French heritage night because of Wemby.
My French teacher is evil and he hates us and he never does anything fun like that for us.
Yeah, no, my French
if
teacher
you're
was...
listening, sorry about
she
that.
Hates you.
But I hate your class so much.
Just the class?
Take us to Spurs game. I hate a lot of things.
Anyways,
it's
just like also this kid is 18. Can you let him live his life? Like,
yeah.
why are we hating on a child? He's having fun. And also, like, all the kids there probably had the time of their lives.
Literally. But you know who didn't have the time of his life? The rabbit who was murdered on track. There was, thankfully Yuki walked out of his crash, but there was a death this weekend. While on track, Pierre Gasly ran over a rabbit.
He didn't run over a rabbit. He ran into the rabbit. And according to somebody in the TikTok comments, the rabbit exploded.
Into like a pink
all over
blur.
The track. What did they say? Pink, like it was like a pink mist and rabbit.
Yeah.
It was so bad. Genuinely like traumatizing. You couldn't see like the explosion from like the footage we saw, thankfully. But you could 100% see the rabbit, and then you could see the car, and
Pierre
no
was
more
like,
rabbit.
Oh shoot, I just ran over a rabbit. Like, my bad. I feel like really bad about myself if I killed a rabbit.
I would start crying.
But like, what are you supposed to do, man?
There's nothing you can do, unfortunately. You're going that fast. I mean,
hit the brakes.
As a rabbit owner myself, it's very hard to judge where they are going, and they move fast. But like, I would feel so bad, like knowing there was nothing I could do. And it was like running right in front of his car. Like swerving his car would not have helped him.
No.
And it's just like, oh, I feel so bad. I would never get over that.
RIP to that rabbit.
Forget retiring after a crash. I'd retire if I hit an animal. Like when Max hit a bird last year or the year before or something.
Oh yeah. Didn't someone kill a lizard too?
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's very, very possible. Also, I'm like surprised the rabbit was out there because rabbits have really sensitive hearing. Like my buddy doesn't even like when I watch TV too loudly.
Maybe he was like a deaf rabbit.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, at least he went out quickly. Like there is no pain from that. That is so much better than him like suffering though. Like he went out quickly. He didn't even know what was happening.
Poor Pierre.
I know. Poor rabbit.
I know, but like the rabbit's not gonna know. Pierre knows.
Poor track marshals who had to clean that up. Honestly, that may be worse.
Anyways, on to Monaco. Words cannot describe how much I hate the Monaco Grand Prix. Today was like the worst viewing experience of like the entire season. I was so freaking bored. Not only was I bored, I was annoyed. Like everything just was horrible.
Yeah, it was. It's just hard because they're never gonna get rid of it. It's such like a historic race.
Yeah,
there would be so much outrage if they took that race off the calendar. I will say though, I personally think it was more interesting than last year. At least we had a couple different race leaders, and it wasn't just Charles in front the whole entire time.
But Charles in front, like, so this year Lando won, which was nice. I'm happy for him because a Monaco win is a big deal. So, and he looks really happy.
Yeah.
And his whole family was there, and they all looked really happy for him.
Yeah.
So that was really sweet. But Charles Leclerc win at Monaco was just different. Like, it meant something different. It was like bigger than that. And so, yeah, even though he was in the lead pretty much the whole time, like
there was a lot to celebrate.
Everybody was watching for him, like because he had such bad luck at Monaco the past few years. Like that was his race, and it made it so much more memorable than this one.
He broke the home race curse, though.
He did.
That everybody's been talking about. I don't know if we talked about this last time. I think we did. Like that everyone's had a bad home race since Zandvoort 2024. but he broke
But
that.
he didn't. He got P2, which, you know what, is really good.
That's so great.
See, the thing is, if that track wasn't so horribly narrow, like, Charles would have overtaken, because he was going faster than Lando in multiple points, and he was so close. He was like 0.2 seconds behind, which is nothing, and yet he just couldn't do it, because, like, there can't be two cars side by side on that track. Like, it's not big enough for that. So that's what was kind of annoying.
I think it'll be more interesting next season once they've introduced the smaller cars, because they look like significantly smaller. So hopefully we will transition back into how the old cars were and how make Monaco.
They've been trying very hard for a while now to make this race worth watching.
And I think next season we'll do it. I really hope like the smaller cars will give not only just like for Monaco, but all like the really historic street races with small like streets.
Well, they tried to do it this year by implementing a 2-stop rule. So you had to do 2 pit stops in the race. And
I wasn't entertained.
It was just like, it did not help at all. Some people did them both like immediately at the beginning. The Mercedeses.
What were they on?
It was lap 60 out of like 78. And neither one had done either pit stop. And it was absurd.
Crazy.
It was genuinely so like ridiculous. Like, I don't know why they waited so long. That whole race was just so bad for them. Like, so during qualifying, Kimi Antonelli crashed, and also George Russell's car just stopped working. It just stopped working. And so, poor guy, like, they were into Q2 and his car just like stops. Like, it just like stops. Which, and as we all know in Monaco, like, your qualifying order really determines how your race is going to go. So, George finished P14, George finished P11, Kimi finished P18, which is horrible.
Poor
and like
Kimi.
Not only that,
he's been going through
there was some drama with George Russell, because at one point, so Alex Albon was in front of him, and he was just driving quite erratically. Like, he was braking in certain parts. Like, he was really trying to hold up the Mercedes cars. And so George was like, screw that noise. And so he cut a corner and went in front of Alex Albon. And they were like, George, just, if you don't swap back, you'll probably get a 5-second penalty. And he was like, whatever, I'll take the 5-second penalty. If I get stuck behind this car again, like, I'm not going to make it out. And then they gave him a 20-second penalty. Which was absurd. Like, it was like, because I get it. They don't like being shown up. They don't like people playing fast and loose with their rules. Yeah. Like, I understand. It's like in the Hunger Games when they try to rebel and they like kidnap their like siblings. Yeah. Like, I get it. But that was a little out of the norm. Like, you could tell they were just trying to spite him and not like following with the normal accordance of how they distill penalties. Like, you can't pick and choose when to give how severe a penalty. You should have set amounts for different acts of aggression. And one more thing. I know he broke the rules, but let's not pretend like Williams didn't have Alex and Carlos swap on purpose so that Alex could hold back the Mercedes and Carlos could have a free pit stop. Like, is that still legal? Yes. But they acknowledged that it was like dirty racing, and they like asked James Valls about it. He was like, yeah, we didn't want to have to do this, but
we're gonna
there it goes.
Like, darn, like, really didn't want to, but
like, let's not pretend like they weren't playing dirty. But good news, you guys. I was concerned because George and Alex are like best friends. I was like, no, I don't want them to beef. But George Russell posted on his Instagram. He was like, rough race, but like after qualifying, we knew it was gonna be pretty bad. Dinner's on you tonight, Alex. And I was like, oh, like,
they're just such good besties.
I love that they were like, okay, and could joke about it.
Like, cut a corner somewhat too.
Yeah.
In front of Alex, and
after George got his 20-second penalty, he like was like, no, never mind, and he immediately gave the spot back.
Yeah.
Smart choice.
I don't blame them though. Like, I understand the frustration. I feel like they really tried to do something with the rule, but it just didn't play out like they wanted it to.
Yeah, I respect the attempt at making it interesting. But good news for the RBs. Liam finished P9 and Isaac Hajar finished P6.
Good for him.
From
starting off the season, not even starting the race, to P6. This is just at like such a good was it an interesting race? No, but it is a major race, and like doing well in Monaco is such a big achievement.
Like, for sure.
Good for him. I'm so happy he's like so successful, and I don't think anybody anticipated this from RB or like Isaac as a rookie in general. And I love that so much for them. And Liam, he's doing better. I appreciate
Good
that.
for him. I hope he's like found like his humility.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for him.
This is a good spot for him right
for
now.
sure. Agreed. And then clearly better than Red Bull.
Yeah.
And then Fernando, continuing his unlucky streak.
Cannot catch a break.
He did not finish the race, neither did Pierre, after he crashed and like his wheel was all skewed out.
Yeah,
and then his brakes were gone.
His brakes failed, and that's why he crashed.
Oh, okay.
Because I think he like ran off the track a little bit, tried to get out of the way because he couldn't brake for the corner. So he just went straight through. He hit Yuki Tsunoda while he did it. Almost took poor Yuki out. Almost took who's his teammate now? Franco.
Oh
my God. Almost took Franco out. Crashed his wheels against the wall. His wheel and front wing were like completely bent, and then he couldn't stop, obviously, because his brakes were not working, and the guidelines for that are stop your car. But instead, he had to keep going all the way to the pits, getting debris all over the track, going into the pits. Like, it was so bad.
It was horrible.
It was such a mess, but thankfully he stopped then.
Yeah, the marshals had to like stop him, they said, because he couldn't stop
Poor guy.
himself.
That's gotta be like
pretty
so scary. Yeah.
He sounded really chill about it. He was just like, brakes are gone. What
are
you gonna do?
Yeah.
But, yeah. Anyways, an interesting little shift in the championship. Lando Norris is now only 3 points behind his teammate Oscar Piastri. So
I love that.
For a second there, everybody thought it was going to be Lando. Then everyone was like, oh, no, it's going to be Oscar now. And now it's like toss-up,
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be one of the McLarens, though.
Okay, but you
only 2 options.
But you wanted the places to change, and they're close to changing. So that's more than we've had.
True.
Like, even if
it does add a little bit of drama.
Even if it were Max, like, it's still like, yeah, it's going to be a McLaren, but which McLaren? Please, Lando. Please. I love Oscar, but
I have very mixed feelings.
Oscar has so much potential. Like, I think if he didn't win this year, he could still win. But
Lando, I feel like this is kind of his year.
I feel like this is Lando's like, shot. But I saw a TikTok earlier, like, of people like talking about like, oh, would they change their number? I don't think Lando would change his number. It's like so integrated.
Really?
It's integrated
into his
so
well
brand.
with his logo, but
yes.
I don't know, like how could he really resist the allure of the number 1?
I think he would keep the 4. Like, it is so like his brand. But I think Oscar would change it. 100%.
I was gonna say the opposite. I think Oscar would keep his like 81.
No, like he already does. I saw they were talking about like how he has like the merch for when he wins. That's like Piastri, but it's like P1. Like that works so well for everything now.
That's true.
I could see him changing it.
Maybe. I don't know. I just have such mixed feelings. Like I think as a person, I like Oscar more than Lando, but I think the win would mean more to Lando than it would to Oscar. Yeah. And like you said, I think Oscar will have many more opportunities.
Yeah. Lando has been like struggling enough. Like this is his shot, and I really, really want him to win it. I'm just honestly so excited to see a championship winner that's not Max Verstappen.
You never know, man. He could still.
Don't put that into the universe, please.
You never know.
He has enough championships. He's got a fulfilled life. He's got the championships, a good team, the family, and the pets, Eliana. He's like the Franco.
Baby.
He's like Franco's ideal life for you, like in your mind. He's
got enough. That's what I want every driver's life to look like.
He's got enough. He does not need another one.
Except with better women. But what are you gonna do? And then last little piece of drama for the Monaco Grand Prix is an ever tumultuous relationship between Lewis and his race engineer.
It's so bad. Like going from such an amazing relationship at Mercedes to this, I wish you could have taken Bono with them. Like, I wish they could have just been, like, a package deal.
It's so awkward. Like, Lewis was, like, yelling at him. And then, like, at the end, he was like, are you mad at me or something?
And no answer. No answer. Like, I guess you could say, like, oh, maybe he just didn't hear, like, it's literally his job to listen to Lewis Hamilton. Like, what are you doing?
Literally.
Like, can you please do your
every single race, they beef with each other. It's crazy.
And I remember at the beginning of the season, we were like, oh, maybe they'll just have to like find their rhythm. Like they'll get there.
They have not found it yet.
They have not even close. It's honestly, I think, gotten worse. Lewis is just so frustrated and like the continuous like not listening. It's so bad. He needs to be fired.
Rough. Okay, I don't know about all that.
He needs a job that's not Lewis Hamilton's race engineer, because clearly, I'm sorry, it's not working.
I think they should go to a bonding retreat like in Pitch Perfect 2.
You know what? I love that.
Right?
The music and everything.
We already know Lewis Hamilton can sing. Never gonna get it. And then they start doing like all these activities.
Yeah, I agree, but also like, I
And
don't
then
know.
they find their sound at the end, and then they go back.
Don't know that it's a good matchup. I don't think it's working, and they think it's kind of crazy just to. I obviously I know it's like hard. Like he's like the race engineer. He's got this job. You can't just fire him for your new driver. But if it's like hurting your team to not have like a good relationship between two very important people, maybe let's change that. Just a thought.
Maybe they should give him at least till the summer break, though.
Yeah, but I'm just like thinking,
you can't
what, how
also,
much better
Max
could it be
and
if
his race engineer yell at each other all the time,
but it
except
works.
their relationship is quite successful.
Exactly. Like if you hear them constantly arguing and you see these bad results and Lewis constantly complaining, and you can realize that maybe part of it has to do with this, like maybe let's change it. You didn't pay so much money to have Lewis Hamilton on your team just to waste that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Especially because he's not like in his 20s. Like,
yeah,
let's appreciate him while he's here.
They'll figure it out, hopefully.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see, but that is pretty much it for Monaco.
Yeah. Unfortunately, not too much.
Yes, and we are going to move back to our driver song connection segment, which we haven't done in a while. So, yeah, we're excited for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so our first one is Dancing with Our Hands Tied as Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, aka Brosadis. I feel like it's been a while since we've done them. Like, have to go back to
the
our
Brosadis
roots.
connections are my favorite, and I feel like they're always so good.
They're just like every song is about them.
Literally,
every
like
song is about
not
them.
even song, like anything you can think of, you could tie it back to Mercedes if you think hard enough, or Brosadis.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So the song, little backstory for the song, it was written after like Taylor was like out and about, like she went on like a walk with something like with like one of her friends, and like she came back and obviously it was like really hot and just like all sweaty, and like the paparazzi saw her and they just like started shouting these like really mean, horrible things at her, and so she was just starting to date Joel, and at that time she was like, I can barely take this, like it's not nice, like take anybody else you're dating who's like not in this world and like force them to put up with that, like they won't be able to take it. And so I kind of think of it like relating to Mercedes, how like even though like they had so much love for each other as friends, like being in F1 together and being teammates, like nobody could possibly take that. So yeah, we can just dive right in.
Yeah, so just starting off, there's 25 years old, how are you to know? And obviously like it kind of makes you think like, when they were like really young and they became friends, like how would they ever know that it would like get so extreme and they would become so well known, because like they had all these dreams but they really didn't know if it was going to happen.
For sure. And then like the chorus like kind of says, you said there was nothing in the world that could stop it. I had a bad feeling. And again, similarly, I knew there was no one in the world who could take it. I had a bad feeling. And it's kind of like that sense of like impending dread, like before they completely stopped being friends, like they surely saw themselves starting to go down that path.
Everyone saw it.
And so like they kind of knew, you know, like even though they were trying to stop it, like they had like this bad feeling that like something was coming, like they just couldn't handle it. Nobody in their situation who had known each other that long, that closely, and in such a competitive car, no one could take it.
Yeah. And then next it's like, I loved you in spite of deep fears that the world would divide us. And I feel like that's like yeah, we saw the slow decline of their friendship, but they like, I feel like they tried to stick it out, you know. Obviously we don't, once again, we don't know, we're not there, but like you could see it like slowly happen instead of like an all at once, like never speak to me again, I hate you, and just like kind of like trying to hold on to that really like amazing friendship.
Yes, a slow descent, if you will. And then one of my favorite lyrics, it says, I'm a mess, but I'm the mess that you wanted. And it's just, you can kind of see it as like the person or like the situation itself. Like they knew it was going to be a difficult, messy situation, but like that was their dream, you know, like ever since they were young, they both wanted to be in F1, more so they wanted to be F1 world champions. And so like it was such a debacle and it cost them one of their dearest friendship, but at the end of the day, like that's the mess that they signed up for. That's what they wanted. So the song is like very much like, since it's written from like a boyfriend girlfriend perspective, there's a few lyrics that's like, you know, you can't always relate it
connect, maybe
that well, but I mean, there's always like, it's more like a situation when like you can like feel like the price of like fame and success on someone's relationships. Like the chorus, for example, says, or like the pre-chorus, I guess, says, I could have spent forever with your hands in my pocket, picture of your face in an invisible locket. Again, obviously not in like a literal sense, but just like they could have spent like forever in like that happiness, that comfort of each other's friendship before it was like torn apart. Like that's something they saw as like lifelong. That's why they joined the same team, because they thought like nothing could break them. They thought they would be good like that, and yet like it didn't work out. Like all of the pressure was too much.
Yeah, and then I think another one in the bridge is swaying as the room burned down, I'd hold you as the water rushes, and I think that really just like encapsulates like the slow descent and the decline in their friendship. Like they're trying to hold on to that once again, but like everything is like forcing them apart and
I
being
really
like
love that part.
absolutely no.
There's like certain like lines and like Taylor songs that I can like feel like I can feel it. And so like another example is like in my Tears Ricochet one, it's like, and so the battleships will sink beneath the waves.
I just
Or
love
like
everything about my Tears
it's
Ricochet.
so good. Or like in Love of My Life, it says something like, oh, what a valiant roar, what a bland goodbye. And like the music, the words she chooses, like her voice, like all of it like make me like feel there. And like this bridge, like I'd hold you as the water rushes in, like I feel like I can feel like that like impending panic and just like holding on to like one dear thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean this was a shorter one, but I still feel like it's just so fitting for them.
I think it is, yeah, and I feel like it's fitting in like a little bit of a different way than we've talked about Mercedes, because I feel like we have different like interpretations of it for different songs, but it's still kind of like the same story. I think this is a nice difference.
Agreed. I honestly one of the most underrated Taylor songs in my opinion. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's very pretty. I like it.
It's so good. And so yeah, that's it for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then second we have Out of the Woods as Max and Daniel.
Yes, another one that we haven't done in a while, but one of my favorite duos for us to do.
Agreed. I miss them every day, I fear.
Yeah.
And so the first lyric says, "Looking at it now, it all seems so simple." And that's kind of because like the reason they fell apart is because Daniel didn't feel like Max was equal at Red Bull, and so he had to leave. But it's like looking at it now, like you've seen so many teammates try and go up against him and fail. So like it's like really, and also not only that, like not only is it obvious that like it wasn't necessarily his fault, it was just kind of like anybody compared to him would look bad, but it all seems so simple to like say what he should have done. Like everyone's like he ruined his career by leaving Red Bull, and it's like yeah, but at the time he thought that like would be the only way to win a world championship. Like either he like the risk was maybe he'd do worse at another team and not win a championship, but like the best case scenario staying at Red Bull was just win more races. Like he knew he would never win a championship there. At least in the other ones he had a chance. But obviously looking at it now, it all seems so simple. Like obviously he should not have done that. He should have definitely stayed at Red Bull.
He should have 100% stayed. Although we can never guess how it could have gone. They could have kept tailoring the car more to Max, and it could have been just as bad for Daniel.
It could have. You never know.
He would have had a little bit more time. And then I feel like also just going off that, it's like the rest of the world was black and white, but we were screaming in color. It's like
I love that line.
looking at like it is like simple, but like to him it was like he needs to go. Like you know what I mean? Like it's like the only choice for him. It just felt like so much more real. Whereas to like everybody else looking at it, you're like, Daniel, that was such a dumb decision. But like to him, it was like, I need to do this.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know that I would have interpreted that lyric that way.
That's how I thought it. How do you interpret it?
Like the rest of the world is like so bland, but we're just like so extraordinary that like we're in like screaming color. Like everybody else like fades away and it's like all blurry and dark except for like us. Like we're like so like fluorescent. Fluorescent, yeah. And so obviously the lyrics of the chorus are a bit repetitive. So are we out of the woods? Are we out of the woods? Are we out of the woods yet? Are we out of the woods yet? And then same thing with are we in the clear? But just kind of like figuring out like the line between friendship and competitor. Like are we out of the woods? Like in terms of ruining our relationship. Like they had examples like Mercedes before them. Like are we in the clear? Like can we make sure that like that won't happen to us yet? Like are we out of that possibility, and is leaving maybe going to get us even in a clear position to still remain friendly and yet individually chase our dreams?
Yeah. And then next is like we were built to fall apart then fall back together, and I see that kind of as like they kind of fell apart when he left Red Bull and then eventually ended up just being like the reserve, so really not even like actively racing. And then
they forget his reserve driver era.
Technically he was the third driver, not even reserve actually.
I don't know what that means.
He just kind of was there for media for them, to be
yeah,
honest.
Really.
But then they started to like come back together, and then with him like re-entering, even though they weren't at the same team, like they were still like back together again racing.
Yes, for sure. And then the chorus kind of repeats, but then the bridge, one of her best bridges, in my opinion. But remember when you hit the brakes too soon, 20 stitches in a hospital room. So everybody kind of pinpoints, like, obviously, like, leaving Red Bull was the start of his downfall. But the moment that really just kind of cemented the fact that his career was going to end was when he chose to, instead of crashing into Oscar Piastri, he, like, diverted his car and crashed into the wall, and he broke his wrist. And that really led to him, like, his replacement. And so hit the brakes too soon. I don't know exactly what caused the crash, but still, it's just like this image of a car crash. And then when you started crying, maybe I did too, because they both, like, were smart enough to kind of know what that would mean for him. And then remember when you couldn't take the heat, I walked out and said I'm setting you free. Again, just they couldn't take the pressure of being teammates and constantly being compared to each other in such, like, a public forum. And then I walked out, I'm setting you free, like Daniel, like, walking out of the Red Bull team and, like, leaving them each free to, like, go after the championship without having to, like, kind of, like, drive each other insane over it.
Yeah. And then the rest is pretty repetitive, which is, are we in the clear yet? Are we in the clear yet? Are we out of the woods yet? Pretty much for the rest of the song.
Pop perfection, if I do say so myself.
Hey, it worked.
It did.
So,
such a good song.
Yeah, I kept scrolling. It's just like more, just the same repeating. But yeah, so I think that's it for this connection.
Yeah, they're both pretty, like, short. Again, not like lyric for lyric,
but vibe and meaning.
Literally, they're just so fitting, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it for our connections. I want to say real quick, we took a short break, and the first thing that showed up on Instagram was a photo of George Russell and Alex Albon at a restaurant with Alex holding the check, and I just think it's so cute. Like,
I literally screamed. That was the cutest thing in the world.
It's like such a, like, testament to, like, their, like, strong friendship.
I hope we never have to have a driver song connection about them like this. Like, they're just too perf. Like, I'm gonna go listen to songs about like friendship and, like, love and just
there's such a good, like pure duo. I love them so much.
I love them so
They're
so
honestly
much.
Underrated, but they're one of, like, the best duos.
Agreed. They're, like,
right now
top 5, arguably top 3 for me.
Ever?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just, like, I mean, obviously I'm a little biased because, like, you want duos with your favorite driver in them, but, like, just, like, the photo of them when they were young, and it's, like, Alex on the podium, like, when they're, like,
oh my God,
8 or 9, and George, like, taking a photo from the audience, like, they're just, like, so, like, childhood bestie, like, supportive duo, like, it's
and it
just
worked
so
for
cute.
them.
Or the fact that, like, when Alex broke his collarbone, like, George drove him to the hospital. Or that when Alex was, like, in the hospital for his appendix, and, like, his family called George to, like, tell him that was, like, a kind of a serious situation, that Alex might not make it. Like, the first person they called was, like, George, and it's just like.
Or, like, when Lily, like, showed, like, all, like, the text messages about, like, George and Alex, like, they have such a good friendship. They are a good duo. Like, what else? Like, Carlando.
I'm not that much of a Carlando girly. But again, it's just a little bit of bias just because, like, I like both of the drivers, but neither of them are, like, my fave. Yeah. Max and Daniel were honestly my number one for a very long time.
Such a good duo. Like,
they're really, really cute.
They're definitely up there too.
They're just so perf.
Yeah. I feel like those, like, 3. I'd want to say Brosades, but I just can't. I can't put them up there knowing what happened.
Okay, and now for our game, we're gonna bring back wavelength because I really liked.
We thought it was really fun.
So once again, we're just gonna say different things, like that on a scale from 1 to 10. Mentally, we would rate that number. So if the mental number we have chosen is 10, we're gonna say something like really good that fits the category. And if we say choose like 1, we're gonna choose something like really bad. And so, yeah, and then we're just basically, based off the answers we give, we're going to try and guess the number that the other one is thinking of. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so do you want to guess first because I did last time?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so the first one is driver.
I say Sergio Perez.
Okay. Song.
Mastermind.
Ooh, I like Mastermind, but I know you don't. Are we doing it, like, on skill or, like, how much you like them?
Like my opinion.
Okay. Lyric.
Like the vibe it gives me.
Oh.
Little did you know your home's really only the town you'll get arrested.
Okay. Circuit.
Miami.
Okay, see,
I feel like
I don't love Miami either, but, like, there's good vibes associated with it because, like, Lando first to win.
No, I feel like I made me unintentionally misleading you. It feels clear in my mind.
And like Sergio Perez, like I know you hate him, but like he has some pretty good records. Like he got a lot of podiums and wins. Not a bad driver. Okay, and little did you know your home's really only the town you'll get arrested. I don't even know what that means. Like
I know.
album.
Baby.
Okay, so that makes me think lower again. Duo.
Pierre and Daniel.
Okay. Okay, so let's just speed run them one more time. Driver Sergio Perez. Song Mastermind. Lyric Little did you know your home's really only a town you'll get arrested. Circuit Miami. Album debut. Duo Pierre and Daniel. I'm gonna guess 2.
No!
No!
There's 5!
5?
I was just thinking like things I was kind of like in the middle about. Like Sergio, like, did I love
You
him?
always say the most horrible
also,
things about
I
him.
always say, like, he shouldn't have been at Red Bull, but I would be fine if he was still on the grid. I just didn't want him at Red Bull. Like,
You were like, I hate him. He's my least favorite of the 20 drivers.
he is, but he also has enough like that I didn't want him out of the seat. Like I was happy with him like going to Alpine.
Okay, and then Mastermind.
Mastermind, it's fine. It just doesn't stand out to me.
Yeah, valid. I
Little
feel
did you know
similarly.
your home's really only time you got arrested. Like it works in the song, but like I don't really get what it means. It's just not a standout lyric.
Okay.
So I thought it was just kind of mid-level. Miami, like you were saying, like, do we need it? No, but I do have like some positive memories, so I don't like hate it.
Okay.
So I'm kind of like in the middle once again.
Yeah.
And then debut, there's like some songs I like, but am I gonna like always put them like no? It's just kind of like there.
Yeah.
I just picked ones like I'm just like you're just
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool.
And then duo Max and Daniel.
Pierre and
Sorry,
Daniel.
Pierre and Daniel.
Because I was thinking like like they have a couple cute moments. Other than that, they're just like.
See, it was very much Sergio Perez and debut that like really made my number be a lower one.
Sorry. Yeah.
And then also Mastermind, just because public opinion on it is not that positive.
Yeah. Well,
so
Sergio, I feel like that probably threw you off. I'm sorry, but in my mind, like
okay.
because I think like I feel bad that he doesn't have a seat. Like that one.
Yeah.
He was like last place and won. Like I love that for him. That made me like him a little bit more. And I didn't support him completely losing a seat. I just wanted to be in that Red Bull seat.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we're not off to a
good start.
But that's okay.
Okay, now my turn.
Now I'm scared.
So driver, Franco Colapinto.
Interesting. Okay, because like me mentally, I'm just giving us a low number, and I feel like you don't have like that strongly positive feelings of him.
Okay. Song, Tell Me Why.
Okay.
From Fearless. Okay. Lyric, put your lips close to mine as long as they don't touch. Circuit, Mexico.
I'm so lost here.
Album, Folklore, The Long Pond Studio Sessions. And duo, Carlando.
Okay. So that gives me we're going a little low, definitely, right? I'm definitely picking lower half of the numbers. Wait, repeat them all?
Driver,
See, because Franco's giving me a
Franco Colapinto. Song, Tell Me Why.
Genuinely no thoughts on that one.
Lyric, put your lips close to mine as long as they don't touch.
I'm not loving that lyric, and I did not like the look on your face when you said that. I'm going to assume we are mentally in sync, and that is also
Circuit 4. I mean...
Okay. So I guess we know what the number is. I will say, I think I was leaning more towards 3, but I definitely think I was in between 3 and 4.
Cool, smooth. Smooth move. Loving that.
Did you have that like written down somewhere?
Yes, I had it at the top of my thing.
I didn't write it down anywhere.
Smart choices.
Okay. So at least I was right like low. I definitely was not thinking 1 or 2. I think I was gonna say 3.
Okay, yeah.
I like to say I would have said 4, but genuinely I don't know. I didn't even realize what you did at first. I thought you had it like listed like 1, 2, 3, 4.
If only, am I right? It could have been. It was the 4th thing.
It was, right?
Could have just played it off, but didn't.
Okay.
Cool.
So our last game was definitely more successful than this one. From Eliana's being, what'd you guess? 2?
Two, yeah.
So one of us was way off, and I didn't even get a chance to guess mine.
My bad.
But you know what? It's still fun. I really like this game. I feel like
I
we'll
do too.
definitely be playing this a lot. I think we might
Yeah.
start to run out of numbers.
But we can always like choose different things that fit the
I think
numbers.
it's a really fun game. So
I think so too.
hope you guys like it too.
If y'all were playing along, let us know if you guys were kind of thinking our numbers, like
4 maybe.
Yeah, because I mean, I did get through all of them.
You did.
Like, I only said the number on the repetition one. So, like, if y'all were thinking 4, let us know. Or if you're like maybe like a super big Tell Me Why fan, and you're like, hell no, that's like a 10. Like, hit me up, I guess.
Alrighty. Well, what's the next place? Spain. I
Spain.
want to say, and then
The next race
I think it's either Canada or Hungary.
Spain and Canada.
Oh,
Hungary is not for a while. It's Spain, Canada, Austria, Great Britain, Belgium, and then Hungary.
Okay, well at least Canada
But like
was
so
my
close.
other option. So yeah, we will be back to talk about those.
Yep.
And
very exciting.
yeah. Thank you for listening.
Bye guys.